Welcome back to Love to Live in the Temecula Valley. I am your host, Catherine Materiali. When people think about moving to Temecula, they know there are great schools and beautiful homes, and the housing prices are a heck of a lot better than San Diego or Orange County. But what is there to do? We are going to talk about that today. So today we are going to be doing a very tactical map video, nothing fancy. I just want to show you, hey, if you were moving to this area, whether or not it's just you or the two of you, or you got a whole brood of kiddos and you're trying to figure out either how to hang with the girls or the guys or date night or birthday parties for the kids, I want to be able to give you some ideas of what's here in Temecula specifically that would meet your needs. Let's dive right in. Okay, so first of all, let's talk movie theaters. Okay, so you'll see here on Google Maps here, so this is Temecula. And if you haven't watched any of my other videos, make sure to dive in on the other videos of Temecula and the surrounding areas because we talk about all sorts of helpful stuff. So if you wanted to go to the movie, date night or taking the kids, or you just like going to see a movie on your own, here are your options that are closest. So at the mall, which is right here off of Winchester Road, and I'm going to zoom in here. So if you were to get off at Winchester Road, you actually have a couple of movie theater options right here off of Winchester Road. At the mall here, you've got Regal Edwards Cinema, and that's actually, my husband and I, we pay for a monthly membership. It's like $25 a month for each of us, and you can see unlimited movies. So that is a phenomenal deal. And they have been converting a lot of their seats to those cool recliner seats. So that is a really great option. And it's at the mall, so you can get something to eat before or after your movie. And then right over here, you'll see Temecula Cinemas. So this is my family. We call this the cheapy theater because it used to be that you could go see a movie for $4 per person. Basically, it was like $3.75 for matinee or something like that. It's still really affordable compared to a lot of other theaters in the area. And they did a whole remodel, which has the recliner seats and everything. It used to be that they would play movies that were out of the big theaters, and that's so they could do it for cheaper. Now they play just all the current movies. But our favorite thing about this movie theater is they have the popcorn flavor shakers. So you can get your popcorn, and then they have this station, I hope they don't ever get rid of it, that has all the flavors. My personal, I will do half kettle corn, half white cheddar, but you do you. So that's your other option there. And those are right off of Winchester Road. And then here off of Rancho Cal in the shopping center here that also backs up to the freeway, there's a Chili's over here. There's a steakhouse over there. The AMC Temecula 10, they also do special deals on certain days. So look into that. My family doesn't go there, but a lot of our friends do go there. So that's a good one to take into account. So those are your three theater options. There is another theater up in Murrieta, but we're talking about Temecula today. Now let's talk golf. If you are a golfer. So my brother used to love Cross Creek. It's up in the hills in Duluth. It's got beautiful views. From what I understand, beautiful greens. I am myself not a golfer, so I can't speak to it personally, but in the times where I've gone to, meet him there, it is absolutely gorgeous. So I think it's a really pretty course. And then you have Temecula Creek Golf Club, and you have the Legends Golf Club. This is actually so Temecula Creek is right by the casino, and there's also a really great restaurant there. And then the Legends Golf Club is in the Temecula neighborhood, but it is a public golf course, and the neighborhood kind of surrounds it. And then you also have Red Hawk Golf Club, and you have Journey at Pachanga. So you have different options for golfing from what I understand. I think probably this would be the simplest, that and Red Hawk of the courses. I think you're going to have more of a challenge at one of the others. So if you love golf, that is definitely something that you want to consider. Now, let's talk about what if you just want like a nice spa day. And my husband, he is all about massages. I am not a spa day girl. I can't sit still that long. Drop a comment if you can relate to me on that. But my husband, he would be all about it. He's been trying to talk me into going with him. And I keep telling him, go take your mom and sisters. So, but you have some really great options. So again, I showed you down here where Pechanga is. Pechanga has a spa. They also have what's kind of cool. Let's say you just want to go and sit by the pools. They have the Cove, and you can actually pay for a day pass. They have the spa there as well, but if you just want to go and sit by the pools, they have cabanas, and you can get a day pass and just go hang out by the pool, and I know they have a bar there as well. So that's an option to you. South Coast Winery, which is out in wine country here. South Coast Winery also has a resort and spa that would be worth considering. And then the newest one, which is right over here, there's another golf course, but that's Murrieta. Not Murrieta Day Spa, I'm sorry, that's in Murrieta, but Murrieta Hot Springs Resort. This is Murrieta, but it's right on the border of Temecula, Murrieta, and they have hot springs there. So there's several hot springs that you can go and dip in, and then they have all the usual things, and you can do a day pass for there as well. So that's a really great option. Now, what if Temecula is known for wine country, right? So what if you just want to take advantage of wine country? So Rancho California Road is the main way to head out to wine country. You can get to some of the wineries that are on the southern part as well and kind of come up this way. So you can access wine country either way, depending on which of the wineries you want to go to. But there are hot air balloons in wine country. I recently had a client, and I loved seeing it. Her daughter, she took her daughter up in the hot air balloon, and they got some really great images. I guess you can even pay a package for them to capture images and video for you to save. That's really cool. I am terrified of heights, so I am conflicted. I think it'd be beautiful. I can't even begin to imagine what the view must be like, but kind of trips me out a little bit. Although, oddly enough, it is on my bucket list to go in a helicopter, so go figure. And then also in wine country, you can go on horseback riding trails, and you can even book horseback riding lessons or day things for that as well. So if you want to do something different like that, that is an option as well in wine country. And then the wineries. Oh my gosh, there are wineries galore in Temecula wine country. There's so much to choose from small little intimate ones to the larger ones. One of my girlfriends, when she turned 30 a little while ago now, I actually took her on a wine tasting tour at South Coast, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm not even a wine drinker. I wish I had the palate for it, but it was fascinating for me, even though I don't drink wine, just to see the process and just see all the hard work that goes into it. It's really, really neat. And then something that I love, so in Old Town Temecula, which is, I'm going to zoom in here. So Old Town Temecula is along here. See this Old Town Front Street? This is such a fun place to visit, you guys. I mean, there's restaurants and boutiques and coffee shops and all sorts of stuff. My little one loves to go to Penny Pickle. We'll get to that in a minute. But there's so much stuff down there. One thing that's kind of along the line of this, different thing to do is you could go olive oil tasting. I know that sounds crazy, but just trust me. So the Temecula Olive Oil Company has one of their shops here They actually have their farm in Awanga, which is just beyond Temecula. And my husband and I they do like a tour, and they show you around their farm and the olive tree groves and how they make the olive oil. It is absolutely fascinating, a lot of fun. And at the end, you have a olive oil tasting, and they make vinegars as well. And you sample the different things together, and they show you how they pair together and what kind of foods they would go with. So you can do an event like that, or you can just go to their shop in Old Town, and they have an olive oil and vinegar tasting bar, and it is really, really fun. So just something to consider. I feel like that would be really fun to go with the girls, or maybe part of a date night. So let's talk family. Okay, what if you have kids? What about family fun? So let's talk first indoor fun, because let's face it, it does get hot here, guys, and we can have some heat waves. So in the summertime, sometimes you just want a little bit of relief from the heat, and you want to be somewhere that's air conditioned. So you have lots of different options for that. I am going to show you here. So we talked about Winchester Road, and here's the mall. Of course, you could go to the mall, but we're trying to think outside of the box, right? So right here off of Inez, oh, good, it popped up when I zoomed in. So this is Sky Zone. This is a trampoline park, but it's not just trampolines. They've got all sorts of fun stuff. They've got like parkour things. They've got, like things that you can jump off and flip, and just like zip-liney things. There's all sorts of craziness that our kids love to do. And then something that's newer is, and I don't think it's going to pop up here, but right here, oh, no, actually, it's going to be right around here. It's right over by Temecula Cinemas, but there's a place called Portals, and they've got laser tag, and they've got like glow-in-the-dark putting, that putt, I forget what it's called, like they have at the family fun centers. So that's a fun thing. I got to be honest with you, I haven't gone with the kids yet, but it is something that we are intending to try, and it looks pretty fun. And then also at the mall, you've got Round One, and that place, my goodness, don't go if you are sensitive in hearing. It is loud, but it is an overload of stimulation, because they have all sorts of stuff. They have all sorts of video games, and the things where you lose $1 million to try to get the toy or whatever. They've got all sorts of different things like that. And then they also have bowling too. So a lot of families will do parties there, because you can book a section over by the bowling, and then also the kids can run around with their little cards and play all the games and such. And then something else that's newer, and it's not going to pop up because it really, really is new, but in the mall. So this is the mall here, and Round One is in the mall, but it's on the perimeter. In the mall, there's a new place called Candyland, and it's Candee. And my husband took our 7-year-old there, and she is obsessed. But it's all sorts of climbing things. They have, I would say it's good for ages, like they have a little toddler section, but then maybe up to like 9 or 10 kind of at the limit. But it's one of those things where they have climbing structures and slides, and it's all contained, and you can sit there. I think you can even get some refreshments and coffee and things like that. So that's really fun, and that's within the mall. And let's talk, what if you have some older kids, or my family and me, we love escape rooms. Like, I love escape rooms. We have done pretty much every story in the Valley. So even when we go on trips, we try to do an escape room, because it's one we haven't done. Because you know how it is. Once you've done one, then you kind of know how to solve it already. It's kind of like when you do a puzzle. It's fun to do it again, but So Red Door, let me get it's right over here by Yard House. So you can't see it pop up, but Yard House is here. I love Yard House. I love going there for happy hour when the appetizers are less and the pizzas and stuff. And Red Door is right kind of a catty corner from it, in this area right here. And then okay, so there is also, if you like escape rooms, there's a company called Mind Trap, and they actually have a couple locations, but also they have something in Old Town Temecula that I haven't done. I think they do like what is it, where you have to go and find things. Oh, you'll have to help me out. But they have something there. But if you want like the traditional escape room, they have one in Murrieta, but then they also have one in Inez, off Inez, kind of we have all the car dealerships here. And there's Blue Water Grill. Love that place, by the way. And right over here, there's a shopping center. It's like a little teeny tiny strip mall thing with maybe a few businesses. And there's a Mind Trap there. And we've done every one. The only ones we haven't done are the horror. I don't like those. And then, so that's good if you have olders. And then what about the littles again? I mentioned to you, I'm going to zoom out again. I mentioned to you about Penny Pickles. So Penny Pickles is basically a children's museum, and it's a ton of fun. They do a lot of the schools will do field trips there, but it's not a field trip only place. My mother-in-law has taken our 7-year-old there tons of times. So really, really fun place to take the littles. And again, maybe up to 10 years old. After that, it might get kind of a little boring for them. And then nothing original, but my kids love art. They love painting. They love drawing. So let me go here, see where we're at. Okay, so off of Rancho California Road in that same shopping center where that AMC movie theater is, there is a Painted Earth. And look into that because there's also one, so Painted Earth, that's a great place. And that's just one of those, if you're not familiar, you go, you pick out your ceramic piece and and then you paint it however you want. Then you pay for it, they fire it, and then you pick it up at a later date. Those are great for birthday parties too, if you're looking for birthday party ideas. There's also, if you like that, but you live in more of the southern part of Temecula, you could go, and honestly, this is just a fun place to go in general. Let me get my bearings here. Okay, so there's a shopping center here. This is Vail Ranch, and then Red Hawk's right behind it. And there's a shopping center here, but there's a little section right over here that even has historical buildings. And number one, completely aside from the family fun thing, just for a minute, because I'm a foodie, so bear with me. But there is this really cool food area where you go in and there's all this communal seating. And then along the edge, there's different food vendors and they're permanent. It's not temporary, but it's almost like a food court at the mall, but way better. And there's some amazing food. And then there's all this open space outside, and they even do a farmer's market there and stuff. But there's a place there called Temecula Clay, which is kind of like a Painted Earth, but they also do lots of other stuff too, like classes. So that's a bunch of indoor ideas. That is not it. I just don't want to bore you to death. Let's talk about outdoor. I mean, maybe you're not an indoor person. Maybe you want to get the kids out and doing things. So let's talk about that. My mother-in-law comes up almost every week. They live in San Diego, which is where we're originally from. And she's retired. So she'll come up and she'll, hang out for the afternoon, spend the night, and then, leave the evening the next day. And she and Emily, our 7-year-old, they will go and do fun Grandma and Emily stuff. And one of the things that Emily loves to do when it's hot is go to splash pads. There are splash pads in other areas. Feel free, if you are exploring the area and you want to know where they are at in other cities, let me know and I can let you know our faves. But right in Temecula, I'm going to zoom out again. I hope you're finding all of this helpful, by the way. If you are, please like this video and subscribe. I have a lot of fun with this. I love helping people move to the area or get familiar with the area because we love it here so much. We thought we were going to miss the beach. We thought we were going to miss San Diego. And we have been here since 2008. And gosh darn it, we love it so much. It is just such a wonderful, connected community. People are so friendly and there's so much to do. You just got to ask. So that's why I'm doing this for you. So let's talk about splash pads. So we talked about them all over here, right? So this Margarita is one of the main roads and it takes you all the way to Rancho California Road. But you can also cut across different ways. So this one here cuts across and there's a school over here and apartments and such, but right by all of that is this park, Margarita Community Park. And they just redid the splash pad and they've done a lot of work at this park. It does close down for lunchtime. My mother-in-law has shown up there right at the wrong time where it's like 10 minutes before they shut down and they're like, why is the water turning off? So do look into that. But this is a fantastic splash pad to take the kids to. And then there's also one off of Nicholas Road. It's smaller, but if you live in that area and you want a little bit of relief from the heat, if you were going up Winchester Road, I know that says 79. Make sure to watch all my videos about the area because I talk about North 79, South 79. But this North 79 is Winchester Road and Nicholas Road cuts here. Chaparral High School is right over here. You see that little there? And along this street, there is a little teeny tiny splash pad. So that's those are your two options for splash pads in Temecula. What else could we talk about for outside? Well, I mentioned to you about Old Town. I love Old Town. Didn't love it when my office was down there because the parking is crazy, but there's a ton to do in Old Town. They have a Saturday morning market, which is kind of, let me see if I can zoom in. Let's see here. So right at the start, let's see, it's off of Mercedes. It's wherever the parking lot is because there's the park there. So kind of in this area here, right at the start, but off of Mercedes, not the main road, they have this big public parking lot and they have a morning market there on Saturday. And then there's live music. There's a place right on the corner of 4th that has live music and as well as other places depending, but they have it most frequently. And they do seasonal events too. So this is actually where the town hall is, right here off of Mercedes. And then see this little kind of loopy thing here? They will do all sorts of fun stuff here. And this is where they put the temporary ice rink in the wintertime. That's a really fun thing to do with the family. Actually, that would be great for date night. That would be great for the kiddos. That would be great to do with your friends. Just a lot of fun things there. And then, and there's a bunch of restaurants. We talked about that. My favorite is Goat and Vine. Feel free to ask me what my favorite things are in a comment. Let's talk about seasonal things. So pumpkin farms. There are two that I like to point out, and there's always those temporary pop-up ones that have the bouncies and things like that where when there's vacant land, they rent it temporarily. But the two that I want to point out are Peltzer. So if you go out to wine country, right here at the beginning of wine country, you have Peltzer, and they have, it's a winery. You can go and they do all sorts of fun stuff all the time, but they do a fantastic pumpkin patch, and they've had, I don't know if they're still doing it, but they had pony rides and they have all sorts of different activities for the kids. They have the where you can feed the animals, a little petting zoo and things like that, and as well as the pumpkins. So just a lot of fun stuff. And then also, if you live in South Temecula and you're on South 79, right here on the corner of Butterfield Stage and South 79, you have Big Horse, which they have a shop where you can go and get your feed for your horses and all of your supplies. if you're not like a Tractor Supply fan and you want to support local, please do support them. But they do a corn maze, which is kind of fun to watch them grow it over the season. And they also do all sorts of fun things for the kids, as well as a pumpkin patch. So those are the two that I always like to point out. Those are our favorites. But again, there are other smaller ones as well. Parks. You guys, there are so many parks. I am not going to bore you to death. If you want me to do a video just on parks, I might have to do it in 2 parts. There are so many. But I do want to point out one park that is really fun in Vail Ranch. So if you come into Vail Ranch and Red Hawk from that area that I talked to you about there, where they have like the cool market and everything, and you come up and you go around, there's a park right over here. Let's see where it's at. I think it's like right here. So there is a park over here, and first of all, the playground itself is pretty cool. It's a really fun theme. It's like Western theme kind of, but they have this swing, if you can call it, where you start and the kiddos, it's got like a rope thing, and then the seat, and make sure they're older, and it swings around, and then they go all the way back around, and then the kiddo has to like run up this ramp and then take it to the next kid who waits in line. It is so cool. My kids love it. And then they can scooter around, and there's also a walking path there where you can go for a walk, and it's just a really cool park. So that's over in Vail Ranch. And then another one that you should know about, because if you like to go to fireworks, this is where my family usually goes. There's other great spots as well, but all right, hold on a second, guys. So here we go. Ronald Reagan Sports Park. This might be the biggest sports park in Temecula or Murrieta. I think it's pretty dang huge. They also have a skate park there, and they have a pool there, but this is where they host one of their main, this is where they host like their main Temecula fireworks, and they do stuff all day. But then of course the fireworks are at night, but they have food truck vendors and all sorts of fun things. So for 4th of July, that's a great option. If that's something that you're interested in, drop a comment and I'll give you some tips on where to park, because you know that can be a nightmare. But just any other time in the year, there's a lot there, and that's worth considering. And then also over here, this is not a park, but a fun place to go. So you've got OBC here, which is Oscar's Brewing Company. It's back, it used to be Pat and Oscar's, and then they revamped it, and it's Oscar's Brewing Company. So it's a little bit more jazzy and fancy and a different menu. But right next to it is the Temecula Duck Pond. They do a really cool Christmas tree light up there. But you can walk around it, and there's nice green hills and everything there. And, you know, the kids can feed the ducks and things like that. So that's a fun place to go. And then also Harveston. My husband loves to go to Harveston. So this is a master plan community. It kind of extends over here too. But let's just talk about this area here. So you have Harveston Lake. It's a man-made lake. There are boats that you can rent. You can run around it, ride your scooters or bikes around it. There's playgrounds. There's like a little tot lot right off of it. There's a big sports park over here. But there's just a lot to do in there, and you can just, you can go for a jog, and it just, I don't know, it's a really fun vibe, and it's really cute how the houses are all around it as well. And then honestly, there's just so many city parks, and the Parks and Rec division is amazing. There's all of the cities in our area. The cities do such a great job. at putting on things to do. My oldest, he did D&D, a Dungeons and Dragons like camp in the summertime. There's sports, there's clubs, there's dance lessons, there's things for seniors, things for kids. There's just all sorts of stuff. So you can definitely dig in and see what's available. My goodness, I just gave you a lot of information. And if you are thinking about moving to the area, gosh, I would love to help you explore it more. When you're moving to an area, Google is great, but it is so much greater to have somebody who knows the area, who loves the area, and who's really like dug in to try these things. And I just love driving people around and helping them find all the things that will help them get connected and have their own community, as well as find a home that they can just make their own. So if there's any question that you have, or if you want to just kind of explore more and ask about the area, there's so many different questions I'm sure you have. Please shoot me an email or drop a comment below, and I'm happy to help you. And I appreciate you spending time with me as always. We'll see you on the next video.